Hi everyone, welcome back to the series Knowing the Flora Around You. So in today's episode, we are going to learn and understand about the most colorful part of the flora, flowers. So let's start with a very simple question. What is the national flower of India? अब मुझे पता है आप में से काफी लोगों ने एकदम चुटकी में इसका आंसर दिया होगा और बहुत लोगों ने इसका आंसर सही भी दिया होगा. But do you know your own state flower? Yes, there is something called state flower too, and we'll find that out by the end of the video. So why do you think that flowers are important to us? I think so because they are colorful, they give nice fragrance, and they look good in the garden, isn't it? But wait, there's more to it. So let's find out. We all know that plants and trees, they grow from seeds. But do you know from where the seeds come from? So there's a part in the flower called stamen, and there are pollen grains present on the stamen. Now, when these pollen grains, they go from stamen to stigma, this leads to the seed formation. Now, how exactly these pollen grains go from stamen to stigma? Let's find out. So here comes the role of bees, butterflies, insects, and even birds. Now bees require nectar to feed on. So when they come to the flower and they try to suck the nectar out of it, these pollen grains get accidentally stuck on the bees. And now when the bees fly off from the flower, these pollen grains, they fall on the stigma. And that's how the pollen grains are transported from stamen to stigma. And this process is called pollination. Now we saw what is the most important feature of flower and how it takes place. And now we would be seeing other uses of flowers and how it helps other living beings too. It provides food for insects, bees, butterflies, and even birds in the form of nectar and pollen grains. Flowers also have medicinal purposes. Some are used for treating the muscular pains. Roses are used to treat the digestive issues, and some flowers' juice is also used to heal the wounds and burns. Most of the flowers are also used for edible purposes and in some delicacies. So, for example, rose petals are used to make gulkan, and we all must have tasted it once in our life. And if you haven't, you should try gulkan at least once. So the papaya flowers are used in many salads. Banana flowers are used in many of the South Indian dishes. There's another flower called the bokful, which is also known as heron flower or the flamingo bill. It has various names in different states, and thus different dishes are prepared using it. In Maharashtra, it's known as hagda. In West Bengal, it's known as bokful. Apart from this, many flowers are also used as spices added to the curries and also in the teas. Most of the flowers are famous for their fragrances, and the most popular one of them are jasmine, roses, parijat, and Raat Ki Rani. These are few of the examples. Now, to emphasize on the name Raat Ki Rani, it gets this name because it blooms at night, and just like that, even parijat, it also blooms at night. So now let's take a quick look at some of the facts of the flowers of India. So we all know what roses are, but do you know roses are in a distant way related to apples and some of the other fruits? The sunflower, it follows the sun as the sun moves from east to west. So there's a hill in South India called Nilgiri Hills, and now this hills get its name from the flowers that bloom there called Neela Kurunji. Now the very exciting feature about these flowers is that they bloom after every 12 years. That is, there are no flowers for 12 years, and after every duration of 12 years, the flowers bloom in unison. There was a recent event of the blooming of Neela Kurunji back in 2018 in India. So the next blooming would be taking place in 2030. And this mainly takes place in the Shala forest and over the Nilgiri hills. So now we have reached towards the end of the video, and as I had promised earlier that we would be discussing about the answers of the questions that I had asked before. So the first one was, what is the national flower of India? and the answer is lotus. And yes, most of you have guessed it very correct. So there is something about lotus that we can discuss. It is the symbol for divinity and spirituality. In our mythology, it is also told that Brahmadev, he was born from a lotus. And in India, we find typically two colors of lotus, that is pink and white lotus. And now coming to the next question, which was a very interesting one for me. So as I stay in the state of Maharashtra, so the state flower of Maharashtra is Jarur. It is also known as the pride of India. And now I want you to comment the state flower of your own state in the comment section below. And this was it for the first video of knowing the flora around you. Here we learned about the flowers of India. We learned the main features of these flowers. We learned about what are the different uses of flowers, what flowers we can see in India, and some of the exciting facts about the flowers of India. Now in the coming video, we would be learning about the different trees and the history of those trees in India. So still, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel to watch the coming videos about different series and different short videos for you. Till then, stay tuned, stay home and stay safe.